That's the same one. Just didn't do anything, did he? I hate to be that picky, but
I don't think you'd have been happy with him. No brows.
that's the same deer I passed up out of a ground blind last year with a sticker. We call him the Sticker 10. I just knew with one more year he's going to blow into a giant. This summer I started taking pictures. I'm pretty disappointed all year in him. You know, we got 2 tags apiece. That's all we got for right now. And I don't know. I think we can do better than him. He's a good-looking deer, though. Seriously, though, he's only a 4-year-old. So it doesn't mean he won't blow next year. We'll see. I can say I won't shoot him later on. But I don't know about right now. This is November 1, so...
Now, you'd think that someone like Don Kiske, that has spent most of his life hunting whitetails, and also, with spending all that time out in the field farming, has seen it all when it comes to the behavior of a whitetail. But when Don sets out one raining morning to his Ameristep blind, he would encounter something that even Don couldn't believe. When he spots a young buck swimming in a lake after a doe.
Now I'm not believing this. Now I've definitely seen it all. There's a 2.5-year-old buck swimming all over the lake, trying to catch up with that doe. And breeder in the water. They've been swimming around out there for 30 minutes. He actually got her in shallower water and tried to breed her. She keeps going to deep water, swimming around and around and around the lake.
It's now the end of November, and snow has fallen in Iowa, along with 2 hit listers, one of which tempted Don earlier in the season, named the 5x6. But with the gun season fast approaching, and with not a lot of days left in bow season, a mere 3 days after shooting the 5x6, Don would try and see if he couldn't tag out before the start of gun season.
So after shooting the 5x6 and doing it all on my own, filming and doing everything I had to do to get it done, I said I would never probably do that again. Well, I was wrong. Here it is late November, and again, Candy had something to do, and I'm not going to not hunt. So I said, you know what? I did it once. I can do it again. There's a particular spot I had in mind. The Ameristep ground blind, where earlier in the year I'd shot over the top of the Big Ten. I'm still trying to see him again, but there's also a big Magnum frame deer.
That buck Don is referring to is the Wide 10. Earlier in the year, while Candy was behind the Matthews bow, this is a buck that they have only been able to see on the Brownings all season. This day, however, this buck would keep its distance. And just outside Candy's preferred shooting range, while out in the field looking for a doe.
But he's somehow eluded me the whole season, and I haven't had a shot at him. So I said, I'm going to go to that Ameristep blind. I'll be able to sneak in myself. It's an evening hunt. So I don't have a cameraman again this evening, but I got a good blind brushed in the standing corner. It's really not that hard. You line everything up right. Usually they stop and give you a few seconds to click them with the rangefinders and get a good shot off. So crawled in the back of the Ameristep blind, get there, the roof was caved in, I had to pop it out, and finally got the camera equipment in there, got everything popped out, got settled in. Just about the time I got there, buck started walking out. I thought, man, this is gonna be a great night. Man, stuff is moving tonight, buddy.
Getting into his Ameristep ground blind, before the deer started making their way into the field, Don sets up for tonight's hunt. But during that time, buck after buck would start pouring into the cut cornfield. This is the time of year where the bucks are coming off the rut, so hunting a good food source will always be your best bet. But having just killed the 5x6 3 days earlier, Don knows that there are still bucks looking for that last doe in heat. So tonight, Don brought a little secret with him to see if he can't pull in one of these mature bucks into the food plot, still looking for a hot doe.
So I'm sitting there filming some of them smaller bucks, and I looked to the left, and just standing there like a statue is the big frame 10. I said, I can't believe this. This is the second time I filmed myself. I'm gonna have to do it again. So I'm trying to get in on him with the camera, get my bow ready. So he'd walk out of the frame of the camera and I'd move it and lock it in, and move it and lock it in. I think I did that 4 different times. He finally walked right out dead in front of me, got the camera locked in, everything was beautiful. Took a deep breath again, I said, I can do this. Like 30 yards, put the pin on him, smoked him, maybe just a little bit back maybe, but no, I thought it was a good shot. He tears off out of the field, and I thought, yes, I did it. Got my second buck down right before gun season.
We got her done, baby. Big 10 walks in, just perfect. I could have shot him out the corner window. I couldn't get everything, couldn't get the camera on him, draw it back and do everything all at once. He kept walking. So I kept filming him. He walked out here, finally stopped at 30 yards, got everything positioned, got the other front window down. Everything perfect, drew back 30 yards, blistered him. We got that buck, baby. It's a big 10, big frame 10, so I am stoked. How awesome. That is awesome. Let's go take a look at this guy.
So after getting over all my excitement, I just shot the big frame 10. I said, you know what, I better rewind the footage and look at that. Rewound it, and it was a little bit back. I still think it was the back of the lung, liver type shot. So I sat there for 30 minutes waiting for all the deer to clear the field, maybe even an hour. So I got out of the blind. I thought I'm going to go over and peek just to see. So I found blood, and I trailed it for just about 40, 50 yards, and the buck had laid on the other side of the ditch and took off running. So at that point, you know, I knew it wasn't a double lung. It was at least one lung liver. So I went back and was going to wait till morning. Candy and I would take up the blood trail the next morning.
In the second encounter of the season, Don Kiske has finally put a blood sport arrow through a mature Iowa giant that he calls the Wide 10, a buck that earlier this year, Candy and Don would encounter, but was never given an opportunity. This time, however, the Wide 10 wouldn't be so lucky.
Big 10, buddy. That is awesome. Let's go take a look at this guy.
But after looking at the footage and jumping a few deer while looking for blood, Don would decide to back out and look for the Wide 10 the next morning.
All righty, I went and got the buggy. Here's the deal, what happened last night. I'm pretty sure it was me that pumped the deer, but there's a bunch of deer that crashed down through the woods when I got out of the blind, so that could have happened too. Anyway, we got last blood right here. We're gonna take up the trail. I'm sure he didn't go very far. He's gonna be in this draw right here, but big 10 last night. I'm really stoked.
Excited to find the Wide 10, Don would quickly pick up the blood trail from where he left off the night before. Confident that his blood sport broadhead did its job, Don would search for this buck for another 100 yards before finding him under a tree.
Got him, there he is, baby. Right there, laying there. Crawled into some thick stuff, though, I'll tell you that. Oh, man. Woo-hoo, look at this buck. Check it out. I gotta drag him out of here.
He's laying under a cedar tree, saw a big old frame sticking up. It was fantastic deer. You know, this is a buck that from the year before that we passed because he had broken tines. Had tremendous trail photos to him on my Browning cameras all summer long. Just finally great to put a good ending to the story. Oh man, I can't believe it. 100 yards from where we quit tracking last night. Look at this big frame 10. Is that awesome or what? Excellent threes. Just a great deer. A little weak on the 4 over there, but I'm thrilled. Fantastic whitetail. This is one of our hit listers we were targeting this year. This is one of the ones we wanted. He was hard to catch up to. You know, I got a 2-year history with this deer. Last year he had all his tines mowed off. Had a couple encounters with him. I knew that, you know, one more year he's gonna be a stud. Well, this summer we started taking Browning trail pictures of this buck. A beautiful frame deer. Knew he was a little short on his twos, but he was a good mature animal and one we were targeting, and it all worked. Candy actually had this buck at 84 yards. I tried to get her to take a shot. Obviously,